Okay, in this video here we're going to look at this set of data, and I have 45 pieces of data. These are SAT verbal scores ranging from 310 to 760. And I'm going to, first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself a dot plot. So in making a dot plot, I have to recognize I've got 310 to 750. And when I think about that, I have a lot of data to crunch through, and I have to make some kind of a scale that I can use. And so I usually like there to be roughly, I don't know, somewhere between 7 and 15 kind of boundaries. And so if I consider I have 760 minus 310, that's 450. And if I notice these data sets all by tens, so if I round up to 500, I could have easily, if I go 500, if I think to myself, 500 divided by 10 bars is 50. So I could make each bin worth about 50, because there's estimating here about making, so I'm going to start off here, be maybe 300, and then 350, and 400, and 450, and 500, and 550, 650, 750, and then 800 here. And I can even go along here, and so I'm going to make myself a line underneath my ruler. So here is my line, and if I label this line, I'm going to call this is 300, and 400, and 500, 600, 700, and 800. And so what I've done is I've established a scale. Each thing is worth about 50. And I have a dot plot here that I can go and I can now put my dots on here. I'm going to put a label at the bottom which says SAT scores. Even better, verbal. And then it's a matter of taking all my points and making dots. And so the key to making these bins is you look at your range of numbers, and then you want to figure out how many bins you have. You're going by tens. There's estimating going on here, an approximation, but there's no formula on how to do it. Roughly you want somewhere between 7 and 15 kind of bins to put it in, and then you start to put the dots on. So now I'm going to go 310. I have a bunch of dots here ready to go. 310 is going to be about here, because that's 350. And then 330. And I have then 350. And when I make my dot plots, I want to make sure that each one counts for the same amount. So if I take my, come here, ruler, I want you to actually just go away. Delete. Okay, so now I've done 2 350s, 370, 60, 70, and they can be somewhat approximate, and 380, and 400. And so now as I go up 400, I have a few 400s. There's 2, 3 400s. Now the spacing going vertical, I should always make sure is the same across, and that will make what we call a good dot plot. So there's 3 400 and so on. Now I'm going to pause the video and just make it quickly, and you'll see the end result. Okay, so I've done my dot plot. They're all, each one is counted for, and they're all on there, and they're relatively meant to be all evenly spaced up when I go across 2s, 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 2. And then when I interpret this, I should note that there are two modes of, this is 560, 750, they each have 4 scores. And if I was going to say it, this might be, it's close to being symmetric. I would say it's probably symmetrical, with this little bit that makes it a little bit non-symmetrical. The maximum 760, the minimum being 310. And so that's how you make a dot plot. Each one counts for 1. Anything more than like 50 to 80 dots, a dot plot is no longer really appropriate. But this is a good means of showing a relatively small set of data, and you can actually see the points.